Futuristic rock, brother. Don't you mess with the crack. Futuristic rock, sister. Don't you mess with the crack. Why? Because crack is a killer, crack it is a killer. Tell your brother, crack is a killer, crack it is a killer. Come now. Crack is a killer, crack it is a killer. Wanna eat that? Crack is a killer, crack it is a killer. Tell your brother, sister, tell it to your mother. Tell your auntie, cousin, tell it to your father. Tell your grandfather, tell your grandmother that crack is a killer, crack it is a killer. Wanna eat that? Crack is a killer, crack it is a killer. Let me tell you what it did to one of me partner.
And we are back. And we're jumping right into our third conversation right now. And of course, if you're watching, you just heard from, you all probably know him, our very popular Belize's own PUPA Curly. So we've got our musical guest in the studio for our third conversation. He's joining us live right now as well. Good morning.
Good morning, Devin. Good morning, Malene.
How'd you like that flashback?
Wow, it makes me feel old.
If you could see the video, you'll say something too.
Yeah, that's a while ago.
But it definitely takes us right back to when we used to sing that song. So.
Wow,
Yeah.
seriously.
But it's great to see you. Where are you joining us from this morning?
Well, I'm up in Palmdale, California, about 50 miles north of Los Angeles, actually.
All right. And still making music.
Definitely.
So why don't, before we jump into the news, why don't we talk a little bit about, you know, we of course opened with one of your classics. So let's talk a little bit about your journey to where you are today, how you've grown as an artist.
Well, pretty much, obviously, after Crack is a Killer, I went on to release a few more projects that you might be aware of, like Sweet Belizean Girls featuring the Belizean famous singer Anthony Richards. And did a bunch of other singles like Big Earthquake and Them Said Them Free Mandela. I also released an album. Matter of fact, that Belizean Girl album featured quite a bit of other Belizean artists like DJ Morgan and the Fresh Beast crew. And even the Mr. Byrne that's living in Belize, Bernie Mac, back then was his name. He's on that particular album. So, you know, I was producing and making little doors open for some other Belizeans. But after that, I mean, I did some other things, like collaborated with George Clinton on Paint the White House Black, which you know, earned me a little visit to the Arsenio Hall show. People might remember that. You know, then I went on to produce several major outdoor festivals, which at that time I took a back seat from the stage and start pushing artists forward. I was bringing many artists and bands from Belize, you know, from dances. I started out from doing big dances.
Yeah.
And bringing people like, our bands like Santino's Messengers, they were quite a regular. And Youth Connection Band, and you name it. And the Palacio was often, God rest the dead, he, you know, was an often, you know, artist on the shows. Matter of fact, I'm actually a co-producer, co-founder of the famous Belizean Key Festival, along with Patrick Barrows. So, you know, I've been doing quite a lot of things. And as far as moving forward, you know, after going back to school, some people didn't know that I was actually going to school. I actually ran a retail store. I'm jumping from one thing to another because my life hasn't really been boring. I've done quite a lot of little things along the way. So, you know, went on from...
So it seems that with as many different undertakings, you still end up back in that recording studio.
Definitely. But, you know, the studio came back after moving out to Palmdale, California from LA, and had a need to do something else. I started teaching. So I'm actually a 12-year veteran, actually, special educator. And, think some things people don't know about me.
Definitely, I didn't know that.
Right.
But it is interesting because I think it does tie together. When we look back to, I mean, we showed Crack is a Killer, and you mentioned Sweet Belizean Child. One of the things we know about your music is that you do try to educate through the words that you're singing. The lyrics have purpose, no matter how catchy or dance hallish it feels, or if it's even a ballad, it's speaking about an issue. So the fact that you end up in a classroom teaching, just not with lyrics, it doesn't seem as surprising as you think. Because you were teaching us from back then when you said Crack is a Killer.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Hence the name PUPA. I'm sure you might ask that question, so I might as well answer it now. PUPA means father, teacher, mentor, all those things. So it all comes together. I've really been teaching before I'm teaching today.
Yeah. And of course, with that, you also sing about topical concerns and what is going on in society as well. And I guess that would be the perfect segue to talk about your new single, which we're here to talk about today, I Can't Breathe. Of course, that would refer to the tragic killing of George Floyd in the United States and the events which have unfolded since. So can you talk to us a little bit about your new song?
Yes, of course. Can't Breathe basically is that ominous quote from too many black and brown peoples in the Americas as a whole, but primarily in North America and the USA. So with the coronavirus and the quarantine, being at home, to many people I would just say, if you're not doing something with that time, you're wasting your life. And for me, sitting there and I've been writing songs and going to the studio all at the same time, but seeing these things happen as a social justice activist myself through my music, it would be a major blunder for me not to record this digitally for the unforeseeable future. Yeah. So the works come out.
Yeah. Let me just tap into your own experience right now. We actually spoke with a representative from the U.S. Embassy earlier, and it's so interesting being in Belize, looking at what's happening in the United States. And there are always people who may criticize, and some have criticized that Belizeans, don't need to get involved in what's happening in the United States. And the clear comeback to that is we're talking about a human race and not necessarily divided by borders. But, you have the personal experience. So you know life in Belize and you know life in America. What is it really like being a black man in America?
Well, to be quite honest, I've always done the right things. Not even a ticket I would have a traffic ticket that go unpaid because of the consciousness of knowing what don't want to be caught up by a stop in the traffic from the police. So, and even doing the right things and driving, if you just like many other people have uttered, you see a red light coming, it might not even be for you, but it's just that feeling come over you. And, until after a long time, I really got to realize some of the things I've seen as a boy in Belize when the great Mandela Press purveyor, Mr. X Hyde, was saying, when he used to use the word America spelled with the 3 K's in it. I never knew what that was, but it really came to pass over time. And what's happening around the world in reaction to this is, in my opinion, and it's really a fact, let's put it this way, we've been taken out of Africa and we've been spread it all over the world. and not only in America, but everywhere else, brown and black people, have been oppressed. And, these things after a certain time, it's just like water boiling, under pressure. Eventually, people get enough. And this is what we're seeing right now. But going back to your question, as a black man living in America, I grew to know where I'm at and try to react with the police in a cordial manner. Let's put it that way, because I know what could possibly happen.
What's the feeling like seeing the protests? Seeing, and it's a lot of young people too that are coming out. That they seem to be very clear in saying they're not going to stop. They're going to keep on going. What does it feel like to see this movement start and be sustained and be so strong over such a long time?
It's a great feeling, to be quite honest. I mean, and as I chronicled in the song, the youths of today will not take it the way their grandma and grandpa used to take it, by kneeling down and pray. So, that's just a part of what I have to say.
And in terms of the actual songwriting and the process, was it largely, were you drawing a lot from your personal experience in terms of what you wanted to express, or was it more that you wanted to give your perspective on the events that you've been observing?
I drew from experience as well. I mean, but over time, the more you read, you get more knowledgeable about things. And even my visit in Uganda last year, in September, you get to see and open your eyes a little bit more, and it's the same all over the world, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Well, we always advocate for opening your eyes here, right?
Yes, and I was going to say that myself just now, but very good, yeah. Oh, you have to open your eyes. Today, you got to stay awake, let's put it that way. I mean, there's a quote that I purchased a shirt online, and the quote says, I have a dream, but stay woke, something to that effect.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You got to stay awake, even in a dream.
That is so true. So tell us about the song so far. So you wrote the lyrics, and then you made the song. I'm assuming that's your process. You can correct me. But since you have shared it with other people, what's been the reaction?
It's been pretty decent. I have so far. I haven't checked since late yesterday, but on the View channel for the YouTube, which I will throw out a little a plea to the people watching and anybody that watch this broadcast to please go ahead and watch the video. And when you are watching it, simply subscribe to the channel, please. But the views has been pretty great. So far, it averaged in the first 3 days about 400 views per day, which is pretty decent. Yeah. And I hope that continues. But people have been receiving it pretty well. I mean, it's all been good, to be quite honest. So and I gave away the song. I've been giving away the song, actually, free downloads. Yeah. So, it's not so much even about making money off the song at this point.
What do you want? What do you want the experience to be from people after hearing the song? What do you hope to trigger in them?
Some sort of consciousness. I mean, to join the movement, basically standing up for your rights. Many of these leaders and even the police department, we actually pay for these people to be in the place that they are. We're paying their salaries. And police, the relationship with police and the public, it shouldn't be an adversarial one. It should be one of protect and serve, in as the quote goes, So, that's really what it should get back to. People should have a little bit more humanity in the job they're doing. I mean, I do know that certain crimes happen, yes, but there's definitely ways to go about doing your job. That's all I would say.
Yeah. All right, so you wanna intro the video for us so we can debut it here on Open Your Eyes?
Well, why not? Here comes Cant Breathe, produced by Carl McGregor, also a Belizean. Check out the music.
Take your knee off of me neck. The youths of today will not take it no longer. I can't breathe. Take your knee off of me neck. Want equal justice with him and respect. I can't breathe. Not a nigga, not a speck. Teach I fish you could keep that check. 400 years and one. Since you conceive your wicked master plan. Lynch me brother, PUPA, rape me mama. Holy by his strife, he kill with culture. Like a phoenix keep rising above you. Remain the vulture. Then you ask me why we full of anger. Listen where the PUPA utter. I can't breathe. Take your knee off of me neck. Want equal justice with him and respect. I can't breathe. Not a nigga, not a speck. Teach I fish you could keep that check. I can't breathe. Take your knee off of me neck. Economic justice, that's what I expect. I can't breathe. Away the boy they pay protect. Too much force, you have to listen, can't panic. The 1% have all the wealth and them a ask me why we have a poor health and every day them a sit down and plot and how them could deny with this and that and to the underprivileged and the poor. We not go take it no more. Get up, stand up and bust down the door. We not go lay down on the floor. I can't breathe. Take your knee off of me neck. Want equal justice with him and respect. I can't breathe. Not a nigga, not a speck. Teach I fish you could keep that check. I can't breathe. Take your knee off of me neck. Economic justice, that's what I expect. I can't breathe. Away the boy they pay protect. Too much force, you have to listen, can't panic. Divide and rule, that's the order of the day. Justice for none, so my hunted like prey. Youths of today now go lay down and play. No justice, no peace, away them say. Not like the days of old granny day. Who kneel down and hope and pray. Mama Africa, open your doors, them please. Repatriation where the youths them pay. I can't breathe. Take your knee off of me neck. Want equal justice with him and respect. I can't breathe. Not a nigga, not a speck. Teach I fish you could keep that check. I can't breathe. Take your knee off of me neck. Economic justice, that's what I expect. I can't breathe. Away the boy they pay protect. Too much force, you have to listen, can't panic.
All right, and there you have it. I Can't Breathe by Papa Curly, who's still on the line, I should say, with us, still joining us remotely. So there we have it. The Belizean audience just got an opportunity to see it. Great music there, and once again, great message.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us this morning and sharing your music and to find out what you've been up to. What your videos are available on YouTube. People can subscribe to your channel. What do they have to look up?
Just simply punch in PUPA Curly and just about whatever is out there will pop up.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Take care and be safe.
And thank you very much, Marlene and Devin. Thank you.